Hello guys, you are welcome to ID International Academy online class. I hope you enjoyed our last session and I want to believe you have all tried your hand on the assignment given to you. Today we are going to start from the solution of the previous assignment. Let's go. The solution to the assignment, question number 1 first. Which of these is a quadratic expression? See this question and you are given options. How do you know quadratic expression? What is a quadratic expression? A quadratic expression has two characteristics. Number 1, it has the highest degree 2, the highest degree of 2. Number 2, it does not contain equal sign. Let's see which of these options is qualified to be a quadratic expression. Number 1, from option A to D, they are all qualified to be expression because they do not have equal sign. Now, which of them now is qualified to be a quadratic? So that it will not be a quadratic expression. Let's see. Expand this bracket. Open this bracket, expand it. This one will give us 2xy minus 6. By the time you use x to multiply 6 over x, like x times 6 over x, this x will cancel this x. You have only 6 left there. So you can see that there is no power 2 in this. So it is not a quadratic expression. Look at this as well. Open this bracket. Y times 5x. So you have 5xy. Y times minus 2 over y. That is minus 2. Just like the first one. You know there is no power 2 there. It is not a quadratic expression. Let's try our hand on this. 2x times 1. That's 2x. 2x times minus x squared, that is minus 2x cubed. X times x is s squared. S squared times x is s cubed. So, that is it. There is no power 2 here. Instead, over syllabus, there is power 3. And we are interested in power 2, which makes it to be quadratic. So, it is not quadratic. This is cubical. So, let's try the last one. You open this bracket. In opening this bracket, you have 1 minus x squared. This is where we have power 2, and that is the one that we can call quadratic expression. So, option D is our correct answer. Someone may be asking, how do we expand this to have this? It's simple. 1 into 1 plus x minus x into 1 plus x. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times x is x. Minus x times 1 minus x. Minus x times plus x. That is minus xk. This is 1 minus xk. Because plus x, negative x, cancel out each other. We have 1 minus xk left. That is how we have it. I want to believe all of you got the first one right. Good. Number 2. If x minus 1 is a factor of xk minus 1, find the other factor. What do we do? What are you expected to do? Just factorize xk minus 1. Xk minus 1. This is a difference of 2 square. As you can see that 1 is a perfect square. Re-express that as xk as 1 square. Every perfect square is capable of being raised in power 2. Don't forget. So that's why I raised this one in power 2. And it's still the same thing. 1 square is 1. So remember the principle of difference of 2 square. This will give us x minus 1 into x plus 1. It's as simple as that. And these are just 2 factors. X minus 1 is a factor. X plus 1 is a factor. One of them has been given to us from the beginning of the question. X minus 1. And you have to find the other factor. Which is what? X plus 2. Therefore, the other factor is x plus 1. That's it. So let's move on to the number 3 question. Question 3. Factorize 2x squared minus 2. This is simple. The HCF here of 2x squared and minus 2 is 2. 2 is common to the 2 terms. So you bring it out, 2 into 2x squared divided by 2 minus 2 divided by 2. So this gives you x squared minus 1. Remember that x squared minus 1 is a difference of 2 squared, in which x squared is a perfect square, 1 is also a perfect square. So you re-express it as x squared minus 1 squared. Since 1 is a perfect square, we are able to raise it in power 2 without distorting the final result. So you remember that anytime you have something like this, it is x minus 1 into x plus 1. And that is it. That is it. We have been able to factorize 2x squared minus 2. This is the answer. I hope you understand it. How many of you got it actually? Question 4. Factorize x minus 1 in bracket all square minus x plus 1 in bracket all square. How do we do this? It's as simple as others. You only need to be methodical about it. Follow. You remember that when we have a square minus b square, we say the result is a minus b in bracket into a plus b in bracket. The same thing applies here. It is the a that has the power and the b that has the power that we manipulate inside the bracket. Also, just remove the power on this O expression. Remove the power on the O expression and you write x minus 1 in bracket minus x plus 1 in bracket. Can you see what I have written? I just remove power. When you see expression of this nature and that is a difference of 2 squared, you just remove the power on the two terms. You have this. Now introduce a larger bracket. Introduce another larger bracket. Rewrite the whole thing again without power. But let the linking sign, which is negative, become positive in this case now. That is, you rewrite everything. X minus 1 minus x plus 1. You know, the sign that link the two terms together is negative. We left it like that here. But here, let it be positive in this case. You have expressed this just like a squared minus b, which is equal to a minus b into a plus b. Exactly. So begin to simplify the larger bracket, the smaller bracket inside the larger bracket. You have x minus 1. Open this bracket with negative. Negative times x, you have negative x. Negative times plus 1, you have negative 1. Put your bracket back. You have, open this bracket with 1, x minus 1. If you are opening a bracket with 1, the bracket remains there and the item in the bracket remains the same, no change. You only remove the bracket. But here, you have something at the back of the bracket which is positive. Positive also does not change things when you open the bracket. So you have plus x plus 1. But if this positive happens to be negative, the negative will change the order inside the bracket. So, now let's simplify inside this larger bracket. X minus x, that's 0. Negative 1, that's negative 2. Put smaller bracket now, because we have something, only one item inside. Open another smaller bracket, believing that this also will be reduced into 1 or 2 items. Negative 1, positive 1, that gives 0. X plus x, that is 2x. Multiply the two of them together. Negative 2 times 2x, that is negative 4x. And that is the end of it. You can see it is as simple. See the results, see the question. The question looks scary at the beginning, but the process is simple, the result is simple. That is mathematics for you. Let's go to the last question, which is question number 5. Question number 5, the last question of the assignment. Factorize this. You can see this question 5 is exactly this format of question 4. So, this exactly the same thing we did in question 4. Let's do together. 4x minus 1 in bracket minus 1 minus x in bracket. Now we introduce our larger bracket. Introduce another larger bracket. Repeat the same thing with the linking sign between the two terms changing to positive. So we have 4x minus 1. This linking sign will now be plus 1 minus x. And that's it. Now let's simplify the inside. We have 4x minus 1. Open this bracket with negative. Negative times 1 is negative 1. Negative times negative x, that's positive x. Close the bracket back. Open this as well. 4x minus 1 plus 1 negative x. Because positive opening a bracket doesn't change the sign of anything inside. So 4x plus x, that's 5x. Minus 1, that's minus 2. Into 4x minus x, that's 3x. Minus 1 plus 1, that's 0. This is where we come to. We have factorized it. So you can only rewrite as 3x into 5x minus 2. This is the factorized format of this. So we can now move to today's work. Factorization of 3-term quadratic expression. Well, all we have been doing since the previous class, we have been dealing with quadratic expression, but we have been dealing with 2 terms, binomial, 2 terms quadratic expression. Today, we want to move on to 3-term quadratic expression. You can see, this is what we mean by 3 term. 1, 2, 3 term. So how do we factorize a quadratic expression of this nature? This is what we do. Please follow. Multiply the first term and the last term together. You can see that we have 6x squared. Now, underline the middle term. See the middle term I underline. That middle term that I underline and the product of the first and last term that I put here, multiplication of the first and last term is what I mean by product of the first and last term. So that I put here. So we now take the coefficient of this first term, which is 6. Take it here. See what I'm doing. From this 6, bring out 2 factors such that if you add them together or subtract them from each other, you will get the middle term that I underline here. And if you multiply them together, you will get these products. 2 terms that will serve these dual purposes. So from there, let's go. 2 and 6, 3. You now ask yourself, can 2 and 3 be subtracted from each other or be added to each other to give negative 7, which is the coefficient of the middle term? Definitely answer is no. Move on. 3 and 3, 1. So you now bring 2 and 3 here together to give you 6. You now ask yourself, can I manipulate 6 and 1 to give me minus 7? Answer is yes. But how? You will write minus 6 minus 1 to give you minus 7. That means we have factors minus a factor as minus 6 and another factor as minus 1. Addition of the 2 of them gives us minus 7. Let's see if the multiplication of the 2 of them will give us the coefficient of this first term and the coefficient of the product of the first and last term. Minus 6 times minus 1 gives us positive 6. Which is this? Definitely these 2 factors are good factors that we can use. So you now bring them back to replace the middle term with the variable in operation. So you now write 3x squared. Instead of writing this middle term, we now write these 2 factors in place. Minus 6x. You adapt the variable in the operation with it. Minus x. You expect me to write minus 1x. Minus 1x is the same thing as minus x. So you have minus x. That one, these 2 factors are actively represented minus 7x. You can see minus 6x minus x, that's minus 7x. So you now include the third term into it. Now, factorize each of these. I group them 2, 2. Factorize each of them. Factorize this first. What is common to this term and this term? Definitely is 3 and x. So 3x in this, it gives you x. This 3x, use it to divide this, it gives you minus 2. I hope you get it. So what is common here? Between x and 2, what is common? It seems nothing is common. In mathematics, when it seems nothing is common, there is something that is common. That is 1. Figure 1. 1 is common. Between x and 2, 1 is common. Bring that one outside. So you have minus 1 into, use that minus 1, use that 1 to divide x. You have x. Use the minus 1 to divide positive 2. It gives you minus 2. Now, check the inside of the two of them. Once the inside of the two terms, the inside of the bracket in the two terms, once they are the same, perfectly the same with the sign, then you are on the way. You are on your way to correct answer. If they are not the same, then you are wrong. Go back and check up your process. Now, between this term and this term, what is common? X minus 2 is here, x minus 2 here. That means x minus 2 is common to them. So we bring it out. X minus 2 is brought out of this, leaving us with x. X minus 2 is brought out from here, leaving us with what? 1. So your final answer is x minus 2 into 3x minus 1.